Few myths speak so directly to the human psyche as Andromeda, not because she chose her destiny, but precisely because she did not. Andromeda is born marked by an error she never committed, the silent heir of a guilt that is not hers. And perhaps that is why, when we hear her name, something within us awakens, because all of us at some point have paid the price for stories that began before us. Andromeda is not punished for an action, but for a projection. Her beauty becomes a sentence, her body a symbol, her existence a response demanded by the gods to human pride. In depth psychology, this has a name, the sacrifice of the innocent. When order must be restored, the victim is chosen not by guilt, but by convenience. Andromeda represents the part of the psyche that learns too early to carry burdens that were never hers. Chained to the rock, exposed to sky and sea, Andromeda does not fight. She waits. And here, the myth becomes dangerous, because it reveals something we still do today. The passive waiting for salvation, the hope that something external will resolve what paralyzes us within. Andromeda is the portrait of suspended consciousness, of trauma that immobilizes, of an identity reduced to the role of victim. The chains are not only iron, they are expectations, fears, inherited guilt, ancient silences. The monster does not arise from nothing. It always comes from the depths, from the sea, from the unconscious. The longer Andromeda remains immobile, the greater it grows, because what is not faced grows. The psyche knows this. The myth does too. And that is why the most important moment in the story is not the battle, but recognition. The instant in which Andromeda ceases to be merely an object of destiny and becomes seen, not as a prize, not as a sacrifice, but as presence. Liberation does not occur when someone arrives. Liberation occurs when the chains stop defining who she is. Andromeda does not transform because she is saved. She transforms because she survives her own erasure, because she crosses the threshold between symbolic death and consciousness. The rock ceases to be a prison and becomes a passage. And this is the point where the myth stops being ancient and becomes current. When Andromeda is placed in the sky, something profound happens. Her pain is not erased, it is inscribed into the cosmos. Andromeda does not become a single star, a point of easy brightness. She becomes a constellation, a body stretched across the firmament. And more than that, she houses an entire galaxy. Andromeda is not a point of light. She is a field, a territory, a reminder that consciousness, when awakened, expands. Perhaps that is why the Andromeda galaxy moves toward ours, not as a threat, but as a symbol, the inevitable meeting of histories, traumas, and consciousnesses. The myth whispers something reason avoids hearing. What was once chained must be integrated, or it will return in an even more overwhelming form. Andromeda lives in all who wait too long, in all who feel guilty without knowing why, in all who mistake silence for peace. She is the psyche in suspension, but also the possibility of expansion. And the question that remains is not mythological, it is intimate. Where were you chained without having committed any crime? What part of you is still waiting to be saved, when in truth it needs to be recognized? This is mythological symbolism, where the gods do not live in the sky, but within us.